especially growing up at Cypress Creek, all I could do was smile. The past 18 years and 11 since I've been at Cypress Creek, I've spent having a great faith journey. Growing up with a mom and a family full of ministers comes as a bonus. When thinking about my journey with my faith, I think back to the moments growing up watching my uncle preach, and then I would pretend to speak to my congregation of stuffed animals, and I included service in both English and Spanish. But aside from being the best baby preacher out there, I had a pretty cool mom who played a big role in my faith. A lot of the kids got to experience the cool Miss Tandy with the fog machine and VBS crafts, but I had a mom who took time to read stories and explain the importance of them to me. My mom and dad always reminded me about the importance of growing up and having a strong faith base. Doing projects at home that were fun and kept my interest helped me become more intrigued about my faith and how that defined me. When the time had come for me to transition into youth and say goodbye to children's church, it was hard, because I had felt what I had spent so many years doing and learning about God wasn't going to be a part of my life anymore. When my first summer at youth church came and I got to experience a lock-in for the first time, my nerves had finally begun to cool and excitement again about this new journey. And the kids I was going to meet. Mariah, since day one, you've been open arms that have always extended out your shoulder to cry on and ears to listen to. My mom was certain that I would be okay, and my faith was being put into good hands. That first summer of youth was exciting. Being able to dig deeper into conversations and about different stories and scriptures and hear multiple different ways it was interpreted was eye-opening. It helped me realize that we all see God in different ways. Summer 2018 was my first youth mission trip, and if you were there, you know that that was a true test of faith. Sitting in 100 to 90-degree weather, building a ditch that was 6 feet long and 2 to 3 feet deep and wide was not an easy task that any of us were prepared for. I remember praying, Lord, if you can just get me through this, I would never do something wrong again. Clearly, that wasn't true, but it was one of the first times that I learned my faith wasn't just about stories from the Bible and to always love thy neighbor. Yes, those were important stories, but my faith was much more than that. I have learned and realized that God is going to be with us during the easiest and toughest battles of our lives. This leads me to this year's scripture that we chose, Psalm 23. A Bible verse that I'm sure many of us in this room have heard since we began coming to church, but it becomes more truthful and helpful the older I become. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want, he restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And even though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. We hear in the beginning of the verse, the Lord is my shepherd, and this relates to me so easily because it took me becoming older and going through battles of life that led me to realize that the Lord is always there and that God always has a plan no matter what, or how we envision the plan for ourselves. Now, if I'm going to speak on my faith journey and the moments that led me here, I have to go back to last May. I've known Ellie Steve since I've been attending this church, and the one thing she would always beg me, please come to summer camp. If you knew me, then that was one thing I refused to do. Mission trip, easy. Volunteer projects, fine. But church camp for a week in the summer, I just couldn't do it. So every time Ellie would ask, I would just laugh and giggle and tell her, I'll see you at church next week. April of my junior year came, and if you've been through high school, you know this is one of the hardest years I've been through. I had needed a break. I had been through so much discourse and drama that I didn't know that this would end up being one of the best summers of my life. Meeting those new faces and spending a week away with no phone, just each other, God, and nature had truly been a great experience for me. I had experienced God in ways that I never had before. I had learned about myself and how I saw God and how he was important to me. I came home a new person, and in the words of my parents, I was refreshed and the strongest of my faith I had ever been. In the months since then, I've attended every rally, even having the pleasure of experiencing my mom keynote. And lastly, all of you here have made a big impact on my journey. I see faces in here that have bought cookies for me since I was 7, constantly checking on my family when my grandpa was sick and had passed away, and simply giving me smiles in the morning that have been always showing me God's love, and in the words of Pastor Bruce, putting love first in all things. After I graduate from Klein High on June 1st, I'll be attending a 4-year university, majoring in criminal justice and a minor in religion. Shocker, I know. And in the words of my mom, I have until May 1st to decide. I want to thank my mom and my dad and my brother for being the 3 most supportive people in my life and always loving me no matter what. Cypress Creek, I thank you and I love you.